Today's story from My Voice Will Go With You, the teaching tales of Dr. Milton Erickson. Donald Lawrence and the Gold Medal. Donald Lawrence had been practicing the shot put for a whole year. The coach at the high school had voluntarily coached him without charge for a whole year every night. Donald was 6 feet, 6 inches, 260 pounds, and didn't have an ounce of fat on him. And the coach had a great ambition to get a national high school record for the shot put. At the end of the year, the high school contest was about 2 weeks away, and Donald could only put the shot 58 feet, far short of the record. His father was interested. He brought Donald in to see me. I told Donald to sit down and go into a trance. I told him to levitate his hand and learn to feel all his muscles all over, and then to come in the next time, go into a trance and listen to me. I asked him if he knew that a mile used to be 4 minutes long and that Roger Bannister had broken that record after the record had stood for many, many years. I asked him if he knew how Bannister had done this. I said, well, Bannister, who was acquainted with sports of all kinds, realized that you can win a ski run by 1/100th of a second, by 1/10th of a second. And then he began to realize that a 4-minute mile would be 240 seconds. If he could run it in 239 and 5/10ths of a second, he would break the 4-minute mile. Having thought that, though, he broke the 4-minute mile record. And I said, you have already thrown the shot 58 feet. And Donald, tell me honestly, do you think you know the difference between 58 feet and 1/16th of an inch? He said, no, of course not. I said 58 feet and 1/8 of an inch? He said, no. And I brought it up to 58 feet and 59 feet, and he could not tell the difference. And I had a couple of more sessions in which I slowly enlarged the possibilities. And 2 weeks later, he set a national high school record. That summer, he came in and said, I'm going to the Olympics. I want some advice. I said, the Olympic record for the shot put is just under 62 feet. You were just an 18-year-old kid. It would be all right if you bring home the bronze medal and don't bring the silver or gold, because then you will be competing against yourself. Let Perry and O'Brien take the gold and silver. Perry and O'Brien did, and Donald came home with a bronze medal. Then the Olympics were in Mexico City. Donald came in and said, I'm going to Mexico City. I said, you're 4 years older now. Donald, it would be all right if you take the gold medal. And he came home with the gold medal. He was going to Tokyo and asked, what shall I do in Tokyo? And I said, athletic accomplishments require time for maturing. Take the gold medal again. He came home with it, and he entered college to study dentistry. There, he found out that he was eligible for 2 meets that he wanted to enter. He came in and said, the college meet is coming up. It's official. What shall I do about the shot put? I said, Donald, people always restrict themselves. In the shot put in the Olympics, they restricted themselves for years and years to less than 62 feet. Frankly, I don't know how far a shot can be put. I am certain it can be put 62 feet. I even wonder if it can be put 70 feet. So why don't you reach a record mark, somewhere between 62 feet and 70 feet? I think he placed it 65 feet, 6 inches. The next time he came in and asked, now what am I to do? And I said, Donald, you showed that the long-time Olympic record was very wrong by getting it 65 feet. And that's just the first try. Next time, see how close you can get it to 70 feet. Donald said, all right. He placed it 68 feet, 10 inches. I told the coach at Texas A&M all about Donald Lawrence, how I trained him. The coach listened very carefully and said, I'm training Masterson for the shot put. When the coach told Masterson how I trained Donald Lawrence, Masterson said, if that's the way Erickson trained Donald Lawrence to set a record, I'm going to see how much farther I can put it than Donald Lawrence. He placed it 70 feet. I think it's up to 70 feet and 4 inches now. Then Erickson switched to golf. In golf, actually, you hit the first hole, and reach the second hole in the correct number of shots. Then the question arises, can you do as well in the third hole? Therefore, on every hole you think it's the first. You let the caddy keep count of which hole. One contestant came to me and said, I shoot in the low 70s and I want to win the state championship before I go into professional golfing. I want to win the amateur championship of Arizona. But every tournament I enter, I wind up with a score in the 90s. Playing alone, I can get down to the low 70s. I put him into a trance and told him, you will play only the first hole. That's all you will remember. And you will be alone on the golf course. He played in the next state tournament. After the 18th hole, he walked towards another hole, and somebody stopped him and told him, you have played the 18th hole. And he said, no, I just played the first hole. Then he said, where did all these people come from? Have a good day.